Hi everyone. I hope you're all doing great this evening. I've had a very busy day. Thank you all for coming on for this very important live stream. We have just over 70 people watching now, and hopefully some more people will join us during this very important discussion. And if you look at the thumbnail for this video, and if you look at the heading, you will see there that it speaks of an order, and this is very literal, and it speaks of no choice, and no voice. And I want to discuss with you how serious this is, how prevalent this concept is, through not only throughout South Africa, throughout South African politics, within the school system, within the varsity system, within the technicons, within the colleges, and even within, well, definitely within large corporations, but within civil society, how this has become a norm, that the idea that people don't have a choice anymore and don't have a voice anymore is seen as a good thing. And this is of huge concern to me. And 2 years ago, well, it was about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, when I started the Double O Days tour, I spoke specifically about a plan that was orchestrated in the 1780s to make people believe that they don't need the freedom to make choices, and that a society needs to be created where people will very easily relinquish their right to make a choice. In other words, a society will be created where it seems to you that other people are making better choices for you. And it's a very lazy way to live because there's less responsibility on you. You can sit back and literally relax. Other people will decide things for you until it becomes inconvenient. And we'll get to that in a short while. And the other thing is that you won't have a voice. In other words, people won't be interested in what you have to say. Never mind the choices that you want to make. That you won't have a voice anymore. And this was all planned before the 1800s, meticulously planned by people that understood human psychology. And although technology has developed from that moment onward at a rapid rate, us as humans, our psychology, our base instincts have not changed. And because of that, we still have a chance. But our base instincts were used initially to get us to want to relinquish our rights to choose and get other people, put them on a pedestal, these saviors, whether it's political leaders, whether it's religious leaders, whoever it is, that we think they know better than us. And this is why I tell people, and I want to start with that disclaimer right now. I don't want you to follow what I say. I don't want you to believe what I say. I want you to see it as information, and I want you to use it to research. Do your own research and make the knowledge your own. This is what makes this channel different, because I will tell you straight up that you need to make the decision yourself. Don't trust me. Don't trust the information I give you. Use it. I want you to use the information because I can tell you that it is vital, especially the members on this channel will know the information I give you is vital for your future survival, and so that if you choose to have a choice in future and you choose to have a voice in future, that will be possible. And I'll start explaining to you now how that has been eroded over a long period of time, and how a world order is being created where people accept this. I was speaking to one of my older daughters earlier today, and I asked a very simple question: what it's like to be able to make choices now that she's an adult. And she said it's actually horrible, that because there's so many different things that she wants to do, and she wished that choices would be made for her. And this really shocked me because it brought me back to the reality of how it might affect my own family. This pervasive idea that giving up your freedom of choice is an easier way to live. And she's been through the tertiary education system, and it has influenced her, and it's influencing many other people around the world. Highly intellectual people, straight A students. So your the fact that you can actually do well academically does not exonerate you from the fact that this ideology is so powerful and strong that even you will relinquish your right to make choices or have a voice. Now, what do I mean by not having a voice? It's you not being able to say something or feel that you want to say something, but you rather won't because you fear retribution. Now, how many of you are too afraid to say something on a specific social media platform? On YouTube of late, they have relaxed so many things, and it's made it a lot easier for me to discuss certain things, certainly, and it's been easier for the videos to be shown to more people. When I just logged into Facebook right now to just post links to this very important video, thank you to all the 270 people that have joined us. It said that I need to do a forced verification, that my account is blocked, and that until I do this verification, which was basically for them to send an SMS to my phone, put that code into Facebook to prove that it's still me, I cannot continue. I wasn't given an option. I didn't have a choice. But I choose to use the platform to reach more of you. So it's a choice that I made. I still have that choice now. Will I have that choice in future? So on any platform that is created, the people that create the platform can do with that platform what they want. It's theirs. It's the same as on this channel. I can do with comments what I want. I can stop people from commenting on the channel. I always make sure that only subscribers can comment here in the side chat, and I haven't changed this over to a live chat. And I do want to have a discussion with you later. We have over 300 people watching now. Welcome. And I want you to share and like this video because we want the algorithms to show it to as many people as possible. So for you to have a voice and to have a choice should be a basic part of humanity. As long as those voices and choices you make do not hurt other people won't hurt you back. And that is what I call common law. You don't have to turn it into rocket science. It's not something written in some sacred book somewhere. Common law is what people exercise. And if you don't have government, common law can look quite rough. It can look like Mad Max if the people are not organized or civil in any way. Because common law means that people will meter out what they think is justified under any circumstance. So someone goes and they steal a bread at your shop. Someone might believe that it's okay to actually do something really bad to that person. Another person might think it's good enough to reprimand that person. That is choices that will be made, and some people might not agree with the person that decides to absolutely beat this. Say no, it's a young boy that stole this bread into a pulp. So he gets beaten up, and other people around say, no, this is not okay, not for a bread. And that community will then decide that the person that beat this young boy up, that they're going to bliksem that person and mete out the justice on this person. And that is how common law sorts itself out. And it can be quite messy. And that is why governance systems can help in society. Government shouldn't be necessary at all. But as long as humans have choice, some form of governance will always take place. It happens in the family. In the family, when you are born, your parents decide what happens to you. You are dependent on them completely, and you don't have a choice in the matter. When you get to the teenage years, you might start challenging your parents. And it's important for those of you that have watched my Exiting the Rabbit Hole, the five different levels of understanding, will understand how you start to rebel against your parents or the concepts or ideas that your parents give you at a certain age. And you start questioning your parents. Is what they say true? Was there a Father Christmas? They told me that Father Christmas was real. They lied to me. Should I trust them? And many other things like that. The Easter egg and the Easter bunny and many other things that parents lie about. And you should absolutely stop doing that to your kids, because one day they will hold it against you. But let's continue with your choice. So you get to a certain age where you will start resisting because you are physically bigger and you are starting to see things in different ways. That is when you reach level 2 of understanding. You're not just accepting everything you see around you. And when you're at level 2 of understanding, you start finding your own way around. You start seeing things your own way, not because of your parents' indoctrination or the preacher at churches or at mosque or wherever's indoctrination, not because of anything but what you want to go out and find. Now, how do you stop a person that wants to start finding truth so that they can make choices and have a voice? How do you stop them from being on that search for truth at level 2? Because that search for truth will get them to level 3, which is entering the rabbit hole, which is an endless fall of hell down a very dark tunnel, and you can't see where the end is. And just to briefly explain to you, and it's an experience that many people get at. There's many people that die at level 2 of understanding, that never enter the rabbit hole, and it's bliss. If I could have that life, it'll be absolutely awesome. Thanks. There's over 300 people watching now. Please like and share this video so that more people can see this content. So, how do you stop this young person that is now starting to question their parents from carrying on and questioning what's happening in the world? In other words, based on their questioning, they would then start to make different choices to the choices their parents made, or their peers made, or their teachers told them to do, or what their lecturers told them at varsity, or at college, or at Technicon, where they decide for themselves that they don't think that those people's mindset or direction or ideology or what it might be, it doesn't suit me anymore. I want something different. And the other day, when I had a discussion with my channel members, and I've done this twice before, I asked them, how many of you are in level 3 in the rabbit hole and coming out of the rabbit hole because you experienced trauma? And on a hat, every single person that is awake and looking for answers have experienced extreme trauma at some stage in their lives. Almost, well, every single one. There wasn't a single person that said they hadn't experienced trauma. So, trauma is a strong driver for people to question their reality. So, how does the rest of the world order that is being created right now, how do you get them stuck in a rut where they don't ask questions, when they don't care about asking questions anymore, where they just carry on? You build a financial system where they are so dependent on generating income to pay off debt on consumerist items that they believe they had to buy to sustain their life. So, to have a cell phone like this, and this is a very simple, cheap cell phone, it cost, I think, 1,600 Rand. A cell phone like that, do I need it to stay alive? Absolutely not. I don't need this to stay alive. I might need it to connect to you in certain instances, but I don't need it to stay alive. There's 5 things we need for survival. We only need water, food, shelter, energy, and something to keep you sane. Anything outside of that is not for you to survive. It's not necessary. So the first thing that you have to be sold, and this sale is very strong across the world, is that you need to consume endless things. How do you get this right? And how do you distract someone from asking questions? It's simple. You provide them with endless, mindless information. Enter an app such as TikTok. If you look at an app such as TikTok and you look at the content on there, and luckily I haven't spent much time on there at all, It is designed for people to look at mindless things. In other words, something that doesn't contribute towards your life. A platform such as YouTube actually closes down accounts like that. They don't allow mindless accounts. They believe that your account needs to add value, or they will give you warnings and later close it down. My wife and I actually looked earlier at some of the most ridiculous YouTube channels that have existed. Out of the 10, 3 of them had been closed down by YouTube already. Not through anything bad or anything with a sexual nature or anything like that. They weren't going against YouTube standards. What they were doing is putting out mindless garbage that has no value, none whatsoever. So you might see that some people will create content. Now, whether it is in real life at a braai somewhere, whether it's at a dance, whether it's in a pub, whether it's in a club somewhere, people create content. Whether it's a DJ pumping out music in front, whether there's dances, whether there's all sorts of things, content is being created and you're being pummeled with content and advertising all the time to consume. And as long as you're in a consumerist mindset, you cannot question. I was there for many years. Many years. I had the money to do so. So, how do you get yourself to a different reality? How do you get yourself out of that mindset? How does a youth today escape from that when they are surrounded by it? And the other question is, why was it created? Why was this consumerist financial system created in the first place? It was simple. When Adam Weishaupt, who was the founder of the Bavarian Illuminati, and you can go and look up that history, please go and research the history of Adam Weishaupt. So the Bavarian Illuminati existed and was banned in the 1780s. So that organization ceased to exist. To this very day, they do not exist. The ideology still exists in many other organizations. And I'm not going to go into that detail now, but you need to understand that at that time, Adam Weishaupt knew that in order to get people to relinquish their freedom to choose and their voice, in other words, for them to speak how they feel, to say how they feel, just give their opinion, that it had to be removed. And how it had to be removed was very simple: to create a lifestyle that is occupied by so many things that their freedom of choice does not matter anymore, that their voice does not matter anymore. One of the things that was created was governance systems with voting. You had to believe that your vote would count in a governance system and that vote meant something. It meant that you still had someone else looking out for your interest, that would speak, that would have a voice, that would have a choice. So around the world, there were 3 systems created. The first system that was created and has existed since forever, but officially, is communism. Okay. Now, even within communism, some people have free trade. So it's very ambiguous. And then the capitalist system was created to make sure, especially post the Bavarian Illuminati, to make sure that you can create this massive consumerist system where people will stop questioning, where they can now have democracies, where in these democracies, which are a mixture of capitalism and communism and later socialism, you believe that you can elect a person that will stand there in your stead and make decisions for your life. Your life. And people forget this. They forget that this system that was created, this democracy, which is now under attack, it will be attacked worldwide to establish this new order where there's a one world government. And this is very important to understand. So governments around the world and democracy will be under attack. Communism will be under attack too, and so will socialism. Every system will be attacked. Okay? Socialism was created as a path to split democracy and communism and have this middle path to this new world order that we're creating. So all your kids are being taught socialism in school right now. They're being taught socialism at varsity, in college, at the Technicon, everywhere they're being taught socialism because it's important that they don't feel just like my daughter. And it pained me to hear that. But I understand that it's easier not to make a choice. For most of the youth today, they wish that everything will be laid out for them because their options are endless. Can you remember the days when there were a couple of options that you would choose when you were in primary school? You would say you'd become a policeman, you will become a fireman, or you will become a couple of other things, a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer. You know, there were a couple of things people said that they want to become. What do they end up becoming? A corporate slave. That is what most people end up becoming. And the people that do end up in the military or in the police force or as a doctor or as a dentist or whatever the case may be realize that everything is not what it was cut out to be. It was not, or even a fireman, that the glamour around the position is absolutely not what it is. So, why was it advertised the way it was? That is still consumerism. You are consuming a concept of something that is sold to you. Now, in communist countries, they are very good at doing this. In socialist countries, they are very good at doing this. And most of Europe is socialist. In so-called democracies, they are very good at doing exactly the same thing, advertising concepts. What do you need to do this? Well, we have over 400 people watching. Thanks for making the effort to come into this live stream. Please like and share this video so more people can watch it. So in all those countries where this is taking place, what did they do? One simple thing. They had to make you believe that there is a government with representatives that is looking out for your best interest. Okay. And they knew that the plan was always to make it fail in the end. They had to make sure that all of these propped up governments throughout all these countries with all these borders, that it was in the end going to fall away. Adam Weishaupt knew that in 1780s already because he wrote about it. He said that we will remove all boundaries to countries, all borders will be done away with. We will do away with all governments. We will do away with all monarchies. We'll do away with age. The concept of old and young won't exist anymore. We will do away with male and female. All of these things had to take place to implement this new order where a one world government would be possible, where everyone in the world could be fooled, and where we would choose ourselves to relinquish our freedom of choice, because that choice still exists. It's still a choice you have to make. Adam Weishaupt clearly said that people will have to choose not to want to choose in future, that their children should not want to choose. They should believe that artificial intelligence, or the highest intelligence, as he said at the time, will dictate what is best for society. And that is how the Bavarian Illuminati worked. The person with the highest intelligence or the highest position dictated to everyone else how they should do their work. Now, think about what that means. A lot of people will say, yes, please give me this world. I want to live in this world where I don't have any more cares, where I live in a smart city, which is part of the plan that cities or communities will be developed, as Adam Weishaupt said, where everyone will be monitored, tracked, and traced all the time to make sure that everyone remains in the order. So everyone remains ordered. The order amongst the people was crucial, and the fact that you will not question anything, that you will have zero choice, that you will not have a voice, that you will just live along, that you will get everything that you need, and that you will own nothing and be happy. Does that sound familiar? Most of you must have heard that phrase already. That was from Klaus Schwab, who was the founder of the World Economic Forum. And if you actually look at the book that Klaus Schwab read, The Great Reset, it is him trying to get everyone's minds to that point where they choose to relinquish choice and a voice. So currently, in South Africa and in many other countries in the world, people still feel like they have someone looking out for their interest. If you speak to people in Russia right now, and many people in Russia has been interviewed and asked, how do you feel about what President Vladimir Putin is doing, as an example? And they would say they believe in Putin, that he believes they believe that he serves their best interests. And this is not qualifying what is happening in Ukraine with Russia at all. I'm giving you an example. That we believe that he has our best interests at heart, so we trust him in whatever he does, that he's making the best decisions for us. And then you will speak to another person that will say, no, I don't believe in what he's doing. I don't agree with any of that at all. So you have those two viewpoints. And having a viewpoint from anyone saying, and this happened at the beginning of this pandemic, Cyril Ramaphosa is doing everything to save the people of the country. It was interesting that when Jacob Zuma was president of the country, the ANC was the worst organization ever. The moment Cyril Ramaphosa took over, everyone smiled. They even posed for photos with him on the Sea Point Promenade. Does that sound familiar? Does it sound familiar why it'll just become a place where people can walk now, and why we were attacked there? There's a reason for it. You see, Nelson Mandela's glasses looking out of the ocean is right there. That is why that place is important to them, because it's a place of control. But let me continue. So why do you want people to believe that this president of the country, this new president, this new savior, this new superhero, remember the Superman and cape memes that were all over social media at the time of Cyril Ramaphosa? There couldn't be anyone better than him. He was a new hero, put on a pedestal, to later be broken down. The day he became president, I put out a post on Facebook where I said there will be a day where people will still wish that Jacob Zuma was president. Mark my words, those days will still come. So if you understand how people are brought in, propped up, and then brought to a fall, it's to affect your psychology. That person is a mere muppet being used and abused. He doesn't have an option, Cyril Ramaphosa, because he was raised by the Oppenheimers. Harry Oppenheimer looked after that man since he was young. He gave him the shares in Anglo American that gave him a massive salary that he never had before, in lieu of massive share payments later. He gave him all the options to become a multi-billionaire. Do you think Cyril could do this on his own? But his payday had to come. It was the same with Vladimir Putin. It was the same with many of the US presidents. It's the same with Xi in China. It doesn't matter. They don't have a choice. They are already at a place where they don't have a choice. There is no world leader right now in any system constituted in the world that have choices. If you think that Vladimir Putin can make a decision to go into Ukraine and do whatever he wants to do, if you think that he can make that decision, you don't understand how the world works. If you look at what other countries can do to him for doing that, instantly, you will see that they are allowing this to happen, putting out a fake narrative in the world media and that everyone is falling for it. Why is this necessary? so that you can feel, shucks, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to say something about it. I don't want to make a choice with regards to it. My government will make a choice for me. That representative I voted for will make a choice for me. But then in South Africa, you will realize, oh, shucks, but you never voted for a representative, did you? None of us did, because we can't. But that's not the topic of this live stream. That was a topic of last night's live stream, which is still not being put out there because it's still being restricted. So it's had about 4,000 views, and I'm sure this live stream will be restricted too. This channel has been under attack for a very long time, but we will continue, and we will eventually get to 40,000 subscribers and achieve what no one else putting out this type of information has achieved before as a community. And I really want to thank you for your help in that. So why can you not have a voice? And why do people choose not to have a voice? More than 50% of the people in South Africa have chosen not to have a voice politically, did not go and vote. In the last local government elections, it was more than 60%. In the national elections, it was just over 50% that chose not to have a voice because they don't believe that the system they are in will give them any choice. And they might be right. So we need to, in this country, create alternatives. We need to create something new. And it's fascinating how the ruling party, the ANC, is starting to have discussions right now. They've already had discussions to directly elect the future president of the country, to change the constitution, to change the democracy and how it works. You see, they are morally bankrupt, so they have to take ideas from other people because they don't have a choice. Now that the organization is under threat, they have to come up with something new, so they will copy. Not with the right intention, but absolutely to try and save their bacon. And who knows how many people they will fool, because so many people have chosen not to have a choice and not to have a voice. How many people will be fooled? So why is it important, especially for your child, not to have a choice and not to have a voice? And why do many parents insist on their kids not learning how to choose, not learning how to speak for themselves? Because you are to blame and I am to blame for children that don't know how to make choices, that don't want to make choices, and don't want to speak up. Don't want to say when they see something is wrong. Just keep quiet. Just keep to yourself. Keep on going to work. Keep on earning your salary. Keep on going and working hard to buy that fancy thing that you want, that fancy phone, because a phone is more important than food and water. Most people will buy a smartphone before they will buy food and water. There's only one thing that stands above all else, and that is toilet paper. There is nothing as profound as the power of toilet paper. And I will still make a video just on that. I've discussed it at length in my Double O Days meetings. A lot of you might laugh at that. We've just hit 500 viewers. Welcome to this live stream. Please like and share this video. And if you're only coming into the stream now, please watch from the beginning so that you can understand what the stream is about. I'm going to spend a bit of time with you just now to answer some questions before I end off. I don't want to spend more than 45 minutes. But just in finishing up, why do you think your child is the target? It's because you've been targeted since the 70s already to believe, based on this ideology that was created by the Bavarian Illuminati a long time ago, carried down by many organizations, to your government, via the United Nations especially, to your school, to your church, to everywhere, that it's better for you to keep quiet. Die dominee weet beter, die juffrou weet beter. The preacher knows better, the teacher knows better, the professor knows better. You dare not question them. You dare not have a voice in front of them. Respect your elders. All of these things were deliberately put down. I'm not saying that children shouldn't have respect. Okay? However, you need to allow your child to want to question things and make choices, to having the option to make a choice. They must like it. And that you teach them how to make wise choices instead of making choices for them. And if you are a benevolent parent, you will find ways to teach your child to choose wisely. You can teach methods for them to choose wisely. Now, you might be a person that's making bad choices your entire life. Then find help. There are many people out there that can help you or give advice. Even on a channel, on YouTube channels, there are people with excellent advice on how to make choices. I've made many videos on that myself that can give you guidance that you can use in any way you want. And it doesn't cost anything. It's there for you to use. So why should you allow your child to want to make choices and want to have a voice? Because we won't have a future if that is not the case. This is the end of the road. Within one generation, the new order being created can capture our future. By 2030, we have 8 years left. Now, at that stage, all the kids in the higher grades in primary school would have left school already, will be at voter age, and they will be able to agree with the eradication of borders. They will agree with the establishment of a one world government. They will agree with the establishment of the fact that your gender is fluid. In other words, you're not male or female. There's no male or female roles. And you would see very recently there was a big uproar over this man swimming as a woman in the US, just breaking records left, right, and center. And recently they decided that this can't continue because it's ridiculous. And we have to make a stand on things like that. People can choose to live their lives however they want to live. And I don't care if you want to go and prefer the same sex or whatever, but you have to understand that there's male and female. There isn't over 70 different genders with things I can't even pronounce. That is utter rubbish. It's nonsense. You might identify as whatever you want. It's up to you. And I give you and allow you that freedom because everyone should have that right to make that choice. But don't force it down other people's throats. Don't teach my child from the age of 5. Give them a choice not to be exposed to that. But you see, this is not the plan. And this is why comprehensive sexuality education is so important and being pummeled down our throats. And in a recent program on Carte Blanche this past Sunday, you will see how they are part of creating this order. Just boycott Carte Blanche. It's the biggest load of rubbish you will ever watch. And the moment Derek Watts goes near anything to do with kids, you will see that he will always fight for the child molesters. He will always fight for the people that are child rapists. He will always fight for the people trying to literally teach pornography to our kids in school. This is the kind of people that you have in what they call independent journalism. And I want to address it directly because they are trash. They are common trash. That's what they are. So don't waste your time with rubbish like that. Boycott them. Annihilate them because they are going after your kids. And it won't just be programs like that. The mainstream news, the mainstream narrative, everywhere will say that our kids need to be taught that they are not male and female to begin with. And I still don't know how to dissect this, but to the members on this channel, I've given them all the links that they need to go and read the documentation. And I want you to go and look up the Comprehensive Sexuality Technical Guide for 2030. because that's a year by which they want every 5-year-old in the world to believe this rubbish, to not have a choice, to be shoved, have this rubbish shoved down their throats, not have a choice. This is what we started fighting, what my wife started fighting in 2019 with hashtag Leave Our Kids Alone, where they countered it with hashtag Because We Can, spending millions of rands. Hashtag Leave Our Kids Alone was just parents concerned that rose up in 50 venues across the country and got the government to change their minds. The action took place on Thursday. That Monday, Angie Macheka said that they won't force it down our throats. We'll have a choice. That's all we asked for. In a new system, we can remove all of these things from our lives. But we want choice. And the government gave us a choice. And that is all that matters right now, because it's the last thing that you'll get. They are forcing again that they want to force your child to be taught this rubbish. Why? Because they don't want your child to have a choice. They don't want you to have a choice. The next thing is the bellable, where they don't want you to have a choice in how you want to teach your kids at school, in a homeschooling system. They're going to force you to teach your kids exactly what's being taught in school, which means that you are doing work for the government. They should be paying you as a teacher, but that's not what's going to happen. The next thing that they're going to do is tell you that you should not own a firearm. Why should you not own a firearm? Because it's the government's duty to protect your life, not your duty. Our current constitution allows for them to protect your life. It doesn't allow for you to protect your life. So I've mentioned three things now where they don't want you to have a choice. No choice whatsoever. How is that okay? Why do I say they don't want you to have a voice? If you look at the new bill for the Electoral Act, the public participation is a complete sham. Most people don't even know that public participation took place. They don't want you to have a voice. You have platforms like Dear South Africa that has tried to help to give the public a voice with submissions to government. Do they listen? I don't know. You need to decide while you still can. But in the new systems that are being created, politicians are telling us, media are telling us, mainstream media, that you should not have a choice over whether you want a vaccine or not. You should not have a choice. Large corporations are telling you that you should not have a choice. You should not even have a voice. They are saying that you are not allowed to say certain things about certain concepts in your mind. No. All these things you may not say, and the list is as long as my arm. You cannot say these things anymore. Why not? It's because Adam Weishaupt in the 1780s knew that as long as we consume, we will go back to our ways always. They can throw a crisis at us. All they have to do is relax at the end. Exactly what my dad said would happen. You relax off, and within 2 months, the people will be back to the way they were. Our lockdown isn't even over. Our state of disaster was just extended. And everyone was raving that it was going to end after 2 years. It's now 2 years and a month. 2 years and a month. We've been in lockdown. We're not out of lockdown. And just like my father said in 1984, when he served on the Committee of 300, that they said that within 2 months, people would have forgotten. The moment they allow them to consume freely again, it's like nothing happened. And they will carry on and feel on top of the world as long as they can earn fiat currency with no real value. It just has value of exchange. The rands that you are using has zero value. Nothing. There's nothing to back it. But people are using it as legal tender for exchange. And as long as that is happening, you can exchange that fiat currency with no value for something else. It can change overnight. What choice will you have then? And that brings me to the last thing that I want to say, and we're almost at 45 minutes now. And thanks to all of you for watching. What choice do you have when that fiat currency doesn't give you a choice to exchange it as legal tender for something else? How do you buy water? How do you buy food? How do you get shelter? How do you get energy? How do you keep yourself sane? Many people will lose their minds. I can tell you that now. Many people will probably kill themselves. Many people will not be able to cope with that reality because they have allowed themselves to relinquish choice. They've allowed themselves to be subject to other people's choices, to a government with people that don't care for us at all. Let them make choices for us. And as long as they can consume, it's okay. I turn a blind eye. I don't want to look. I don't want to know what's going on. I don't want to know. I don't even want to know what's happening to my kid at school. I don't want to know that my child that is 10 years old or 11 years old is being exposed to brutal attacks at school, to simulations in classroom where they act out things. These are things that you'll see in these manuals where they do role play. Come on, man, do something. You cannot sit back and do nothing about this. We need to fight. So, what can you do? And I've said this so many times before, you must be sick of it by now. Make sure that you become as self-reliant as you can. Become as independent of government and corporate control as you can. Invest in the 5 things you need for survival: water, food, shelter, energy, and something to keep you sane. And when I mean for survival, it's not to live your life, it's to stay alive. It is to stay alive. If you remember on this channel, you would have seen all the things I put in the community tab for members. Go and watch and read up on those documents, watch those videos, and understand what it means. And be prepared. Make sure that you are prepared for what is to come. Thank you very much for watching. I'll take some questions now before we close this live stream. Thank you so much for the 550 of you that came into this live stream. I think I'm trying to formulate information better for you because I know a lot of you are new to this channel and don't understand the history of this channel. I can't blame you for that. Please do make the effort when you have time to watch the Moments in Time and Question Everything series. There are playlists on this channel. They are easy to find. You can watch the videos in order there so that you understand where I come from, my background. I'm a highly skilled and qualified nuclear professional. I'm not someone that just fell out the back street giving information. I have experienced a lot to make it possible for me to give you a perspective on history as well as the future of this country. And I extensively toured around South Africa and I initiated the Freedom SA events, of which we will have events that people have organized and hosted this coming Saturday in George, and then 2 weeks from then up in Gauteng. I will announce the dates for the Eastern Cape. We're discussing that right now, and that event will take place in Jeffreys Bay. So I can announce that the event will take place in Jeffreys Bay. So the people in Port Elizabeth will have to travel, but we will give you that date early enough so that you can make arrangements. But in the Cape Town event, we can have a record number of people already on the garden route. And I think the hosts are probably concerned with the size of the venue at this stage. But it's really awesome to see that people do want to have that freedom of choice, that they do want to have a voice. And coming together in large numbers like this, you will see how many other people feel the same. And I want you to have a voice. I want you to speak to other people. When you're walking in the streets, when you're at the teller, when you at the garage, speak to the people that are serving you. Speak to homeless people in your community. Speak to people that are in government in your community. Speak to the ESCOM technicians. Speak to your municipal workers. Speak to them about things. Ask them questions. Show interest. Because if you do not, we will not survive what is coming. I believe that we will pull it through in South Africa. I really feel sorry for the people in Europe. They are going to experience things that are unthinkable. You know, people are in shock about what's happening in the Baltic region right now, because it's best to describe it that way. Believe me, this is orchestrated at a very high level. It has nothing to do with Putin. Putin cannot attack and declare war on Ukraine. He's never been able to do that. He's not even a member of the committee of 300. And I can tell you that the committee and the council that run the committee are smiling right now, because this is playing exactly out the way they want it. And you will see how this has an effect on China next, because Xi Jinping is next. He will be the next target, just like Saddam Hussein was a target, just like Gaddafi was a target, created and then destroyed. Just like Cyril was created and will be destroyed, just like Jacob Zuma was created and destroyed. It is actually becoming quite pathetic by now. And if people don't see through this, I don't know how to get through to you. Because what will start happening in the country right now, I will lay it out for you in videos. And once again, the three things that you need to look at, the ones already happened, okay, and is in progress. Destroying the Zulu kingdom. This is the road to the new order being established in the country. Next, destroying ESCOM. Next, secession, the fight for secession. Those three things will determine the future of the country. And this is why I fight so hand, tooth, and nail against secession, because the people that are proponents for this do not understand what it will cause. And I've tried to lay it out in the past. I know a lot of people might be upset with me for it. The fact that you want to um, uh, be self-determined in any kind of way has nothing to do with what's happening behind the scenes. So many people might have innocent wants and whims with regards to secession. I know there's people that want secession in KwaZulu-Natal and in many other places. It plays into this new order's hands. It is absolutely in line with their plans. And if you understand the Bavarian Illuminati's plans the way I do in detail, you will understand how you will be playing into their hands and how you will just sit back and watch it happen, because that is always what was planned for you. Thank you for the 400 likes. Hopefully we can get it to 500 before I end this video. So I'll take some questions now. Please like and share this video so that we can get this information to as many people as possible. I will make many more important live streams like this on the topic. But this topic here is a starting point. It's really important. In my double days meetings, I probably spent 2 hours just on the historic detail of this, the literal detail, the 4 families that run South Africa and all the cronies beneath them. And if you see how they interlink with the history of the Bavarian Illuminati, you'll be astounded. But it's there for you to see and research. And once again, like I say, don't trust and believe everything I say. Use the information. That is very important. I think we should have an event. If the horse lady is willing to have an event at a place, I'm absolutely down for that. So if you can confirm, then we can do something like that. I think the people maybe need to travel out of the metro and do something outside. So please, if you are willing, then let me know. And there's many people I need to contact soon, but I need to put dates together. So putting dates together is important right now, and then it needs to logistically work out. Okay. Ruth, love is very important. 2051 comment. I can't actually see. I'll check the comment after the video is already loaded. Okay. Okay, that is awesome. I'll make contact with you. I still have your emails. Things haven't worked out the way we had planned. We would have loved to come to your place, but we will organize an event there. I will speak to you and then find out exactly what size event we can put together. But it's always been important that we get a venue that is private. That's very important, because I want people to be free. And these events are crucial for us to be with other people that want freedom of choice, that want a voice, and for people to understand why it's so important for this new order being created, for us not to have a choice, for us not to have a voice. They cannot establish a one world government as long as you have opinionated people. They need us caught up in this consumerist system where we just continuously consume like slaves, like drones, like androids. And at the end of the day, we become extensions of these little smart devices. So I put my phone somewhere where I can't even see it, and I often forget where it is. And I won't answer any phone numbers that's not saved on my phone. So if you urgently want to get hold of me, send me an SMS, or send me an email. I do see when they come in. I might only see to the emails later. But that's the best way to get hold of me. I will not answer the number if it's not saved on my phone. It won't happen. I can guarantee you that. So I don't keep the phone with me. It doesn't control me. So for most people, this device, we are an extension of it. So it is the artificial intelligence and we are the android. So we are already like cyborgs. We are literally an extension of what this AI tells us to do. And in many instances, it'll tell us what to order, where to go and visit, and many other things like that. Think about how many young people right now are living that life already, are extensions of their Android phone or their iPhone, just extensions. They don't make choices anymore. They don't want a voice anymore because AI will always do it better. It was always what Adam Weishaupt had envisaged, and with the technology and advancement of technology, since the Bavarian Illuminati was disbanded, not just disbanded, but banned. They put a death penalty on anyone that would practice within the craft. And when the 2,000 members scattered all over the world, very soon after the industrial revolution in the world started, and you would see that what they call the enlightenment and the absolute proliferation of inventions and ideas was just exponential from that point onward. However, today, you will see things come to a standstill. The only focus is technology that monitors, tracks, and traces you to make sure that you don't have a voice and you don't have a choice. AI is giving voice to you already, and many of you might not even realize that the AI is already controlling your thoughts. It's already controlling your mood and many other things. Think about what I'm saying. Go tonight and lie in bed and think about this device and how it's already controlling you, taking away your choice and taking away your voice. I really want to thank you for coming into this live stream. Please like this video. Let's get it up to 500 likes and share this video so more people can watch it. Marsha says we need phones to research though and watch YouTube. There's nothing wrong with a phone. Use it as a technical device. Okay, use it. Don't let it use you. That's all. So my kids can all operate the phone. They can all operate the computer, but none of them have phones. They don't need phones. I go outside. I might see them in the trees or in the bushes, but they can operate this phone. Use it. Use the phone. Use the technology. Use YouTube. Use Facebook or whatever social media platform you're on. Use it. We have to use it to get to more people. People that tell you that you shouldn't be on these platforms, they are subverting what we are doing. The more people who reach, the better. We would not be able to have a gathering of almost 200 people on the garden route, if it's not more, if it wasn't for this technology. We have to use it. Absolutely. So, no, don't throw your phone away. In fact, use your phone to do research. Use it. Okay. Don't let yourself be an extension of it. Once you've done the research, put it away. Put it somewhere else and carry on doing other things. I don't have a television in my house. So one bit of advice I can give you is get rid of the TV in your house. Like, I mean, TV channels. Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. You won't miss it. The incredible things you can do without it. It's unbelievable what you can achieve as a family if you're not stuck on a TV. Get rid of it. It's this is probably some of the best advice I could give anybody. Okay, being stuck on computer games, people, it's poison. You know, the amount of AI that goes into computer games to program your mind is incredible. Your child mindlessly sitting on various apps, getting bombarded by ads that's picked up by AI while the camera is watching your child. They can pick up the age of your child, and then they will hand pick adverts for them that they won't show you. So you won't even know what your child is seeing. Think about that. The horse lady says it's been 3 years without a TV. For me, it's been 13, going on 14 years. Best thing I could ever do. I was an addict. I was like a couch vegetable scrolling through channels. I can admit how pathetic I was. That's awesome, Marsha. Use it for information. There's nothing wrong with that. And so take any technology that can't physically hurt you, use it for information. We need information at this stage. It's very important. Thank you so much for all coming on. Musa says, Mtembo, I haven't had a telly for almost 10 years now. Well done, Musa. Thanks for coming into this live stream. Alida, I agree. No TV leaves your phones at home. Don't follow media. We actually traveled out today as a family, quite a distance, and Lauren left all the phones at home. I took one with because I might have been contacted by something very important on a project that I'm busy with. So leave phones at home. Do it, please. Marlene says, my phone stays in one place. So Marlene, you know, we'll be having the event there by you guys. So I hope that we can find a spot. You say the sound is always off. I decide when I'll attend to answer any calls or messages. Marlene, that's very important. I do the same. So I keep the volume on my phone down. I never have my volume up. I don't hear beeps or notifications coming in. I would advise all of you to do that so that your phone has less impact in your life. You can actually use the settings on your phone and the privacy settings. Spend time there and actually disable all the things that makes it possible for AI to use your phone. All are disabled on my phone, so I am less distracted by it. So the easiest way to do that is just put it somewhere. When I go to my phone, I don't see a whole lot of interference in my life, and it's the only way I'll be able to survive. T-Man, Beata says, I don't watch TV. Lucky Rich, you were saying that we're over 2 years in the lockdown. Mask nonsense. Ignore regulations. A message needs to start being sent. It's the media that told us to submit to this. Well, at the end of the day, as I said before, I'm not going to tell anyone else what to do. Common law is what the community decides. So if the whole community in the country decides that they're not going to do something, then they won't do it. They are the government. Then you are not a subject, then you are a citizen if you behave that way. And then you are showing that you don't need a government. Now, exactly with what I'm discussing now, people relinquishing the right to choose and believing that someone there is not their representative, someone there is making decisions for them. That's wrong. No governance system should work that way. It should always work in a way where your voice is heard. Now, if an MP in Parliament, as if there's 400 constituencies, they can go to a constituency meeting, gather people in a town hall, and the people can say, this is how we feel about this thing. Take that back to Parliament and be our representative. Don't follow your own mind. You listen to us. Currently, parties are getting money for constituency meeting houses. Have you seen the DA anywhere in the country build a constituency meeting house? The ANC has built many throughout the country because I've seen them. They're getting money. What are they spending that money on? Not on what they're supposed to do. So it's a farce, and we do need system change. And like I said, the focus of last night's video was on that. I hope we can get this video unrestricted as soon as possible. I'm sure by the time I'm finished here, it'll be restricted straight away. But we have to get the information out here. So like this video, we're almost at 500 likes, and share this content on your social media platforms. We have to use technology as much as we can. Marlene says, so a pic today of people in church sitting on their phones during the service. Yeah, why are they there? I suppose it's just keeping up with the Joneses. T-Man, how do we disrupt the new electoral bill? T-Man, we don't have to disrupt it. We change the entire system. So we carry on with what we are doing. But the developments within the ANC now is fascinating. You know, for them to literally go and copy a portion of what we are trying to do is ingenious, and I must give it to them. But I will speak to people at the Freedom SA events. I will tell them what is happening behind the scenes. I'm not going to discuss it in a public forum. But thank you very much for all your efforts, because without your efforts, we wouldn't be able to grow this community to the size that it is. And as I've said to many people, this is a real community on the ground. When we're going to be in the Garden Route now, there's going to be over 100 people at that event. When we go to Gauteng, I can tell you now there's going to be over 300 people at that event. It's not a small group of people. Most political parties can't even get that many people gathered. And I'm not even a politician. I'm never going to stand for any public office or anything like that. Cindy Sher Rodman says, I watch documentaries and use internet to learn. That is so important, you know. We have awesome information. And it's for you to decide what to use and what to discard. But information is information. Even if it's false, it is still information. Okay. Those lady, you've got your Bible on your phone. I'm not sure if people actually have the Quran on their phones or the Torah on their phones as well. But on your phone, you can have many things. I still prefer an original book, to be honest. That's just me. Marsha says, money definitely not going back into infrastructure. That's for sure, only into their pockets. Well, the system creates that. So, yes, if you watch my live stream from yesterday, you will understand. The death shot. Watch the first few minutes of early warning of 40 years ago on YouTube. New World Order predictive programming playing out today exactly as in the movie. Nadia, the programming actually started even before the Bavarian Illuminati existed. Remember, Adam Weishaupt and Amschel Rothschild, they were both Masons first, and they were disillusioned with the Masonic fraternity because the Masons believed in the freedom of choice. They believed that every individual must enlighten themselves in their lifetime, in their own time. And they didn't. They felt uncomfortable with this because I suppose they were more elitist in thought, so they wanted to create something different. And that's where the Bavarian Illuminati started. If you read that history, it's fascinating. They actually created a lot that they wanted to incorporate within the Masonic fraternity, and the Masonic fraternity said no. Now, I'm not a Mason. I've not even been asked to be a Mason ever in my life. I suppose I'm not important enough. And the things that I speak, I don't believe in secret societies. So I will discourage anyone from being part of any secret society. Now, most Masons will say that it's a sacred society. I'm not going to divulge how I feel about that. But any organization that is doing things that's not open for people to see, okay, unless it comes to your security as a family, there's something wrong with that. I have a problem with that, because the moment you elevate yourself above someone else, there's something wrong. It's like the people in the US and news media in the US and in Europe. saying that the people in Ukraine that are suffering, these are Europeans. It's not Africans or people from the Middle East. So what are we? The people in Africa and in the Middle East, are we some lesser form of a human? Do you see the elitist way that these people talk or look at us? It is actually frightening. If you have to speak to most people in the US, they won't be able to tell you where South Africa is. And they'll probably tell you that there's lines running around in the streets, because this is how little they are educated on the world. In our school system, we actually learn a lot, as pathetic as the system is. Yes, government is like a secret society, Sue. The way it is set up now, absolutely. If you have a representative system, it changes completely, because now that representative becomes just that. They actually have to communicate with their constituents all the time, get information from them, and then go and feed back. So I believe we can change the system completely. We have to. And then we will have a truer form of democracy where we can elect our leaders directly. This is important. Our MPs directly, the president directly, as a discussion group in the ANC is saying now that the president should be elected directly. And it's interesting that reports from the past, the Van Zyl Slabbert report and many others, said exactly the same thing. That transition never took place, but they wanted a partial system, a partial party and partial uh, um, direct election system, and you can't have that. That is still subverted. We need a full direct election system where the people that we elect as representatives are accountable to us completely. And then you will always have a choice, and you will always have a voice, and you will have a reason to vote again. Because at the moment, the only vote that can count is a vote for system change. That's the only vote that can count. Any other vote is pointless. If you don't vote for system change, it's a pointless vote. So I agree with more than 50% of the people. Thanks everyone for coming into this live stream. We've got over 500 likes. Thank you so much for sharing the information. Wow, we've gone way over an hour. I did not expect that, but it was nice spending the time with you. Thursday evening, I will probably be doing my live stream for members from Wilderness. We'll be traveling to the garden route, yes, soon. And we don't want our detractors to know what's happening. You know, the venue details only go out a day before the actual event. And we've been doing this for a very long time. It's been very successful. And at short notice, we have lots of people attending these events. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be in the George area, and you will get the specific details of the venue the day before. And it'll always work that way. It'll never change. We are not stupid. So all the people in intelligence, they already know what we are doing. But if there's any extremist groups that want to stop or disrupt our actions, we're not going to give them any time of day, nothing, because we're actually intelligent. We're not stupid, and we know how to get things done. So thank you very much. You must all have a great evening, and yes, maybe I will do something from the event at uh, uh, at the garden route. Who knows? Let's see. Thank you very much. Good night.